Good morning, everyone. This is Tony Lee, and you're tuning in for episode 2. Today, my guest is Bryan Pham, and I want to share with you guys what his group is all about.
What's up, guys? This is Franco, Silicon Valley, and right now we're at the Asian Hustle Network event. So come on, let's check it out.
I've been drinking every night because I love it, and I'm wearing off-white because I love it, and I'm spending all the money in the budget. Who easy does it? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
AHN is a group created to bring the Asian community together and to give people an opportunity to share their business and to network and support each other.
Why do I feel the need to leave you like it's nothing? Why do I back away before I can?
Shout out to Franco for this video, and it's my pleasure to bring Bryan Pham live into the stream. Bryan, how are you, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on the show, Tony.
Of course, of course. So introduce yourself formally to everybody on the stream.
Definitely. I'm Bryan. I am the founder of Asian Hustle Network, which is a community to uplift each other. And it's a very special place for entrepreneurs to kind of meet each other, help each other out without any kind of agenda in any way, and just really like uplift each other and support each other.
Yeah, awesome. So I got introduced to AHN through a friend, Michelle. She has been my best friend since high school, and she's like, you'd be fitting really well in this group. And I'm like, all right, let me check it out. And then this community that you were talking about, man, like, it's amazing. There's a lot of people sharing all sorts of stories, all sorts of interesting connects. Walk me through some of the things that you've seen that you're like really proud of, or something that even like surprised you.
Definitely. I was very surprised to see how vulnerable people can be in the community.
Yeah, definitely.
And that really touches my heart a lot, because I did put my heart and soul into building this community, and having everyone so open and so collaborative, it's a huge win in my book. It's a great feeling to know that, you know, you pour your heart and soul into this all the time, all the unappreciated work that no one ever sees into doing this. And It's really surprising to see how the group has taken a life on its own. And I had to get used to it at the very beginning too, when people refer to AHN as a verb, you know, Google, hey, blah, blah, AHN. And to me, that's like, whoa, like, that's something I always wanted to do, you know? And when I started Asian Hustle Network, I was at a point in my life where I wanted to give back. I wanted to really help people understand that there's a lot of resources out there, and they're all willing to help each other. All you have to do is put yourself in the right position and to ask. You know, we also live in an age where, you know, being authentic is also very important. And that's something that I really wanted to reflect in the group, is like, hey, be yourself. Don't be afraid to be judged. We all have different paths to success. We all want to do different things. There's no right or wrong answer. We're all here to help each other. So just feel free to share your story, and there's no negativity in the group. Like, we're all here to like support each other.
It's very interesting you say that. In marketing, there's a lot of conversation about cause marketing and the stories and how it elevates, right? But, you know, that's like the evil way twisting of it. But you have the organic way of like entrepreneurs being vulnerable, and people are hearing that story. Talk me through being an entrepreneur, because a lot of people are either going to be aspiring entrepreneurs or not. Why that vulnerability is so important, not only for your brand, but for your company.
I think it's also really important to be honest to yourself too.
Yeah,
I think honesty would go a long way. There's so many times for myself being an entrepreneur that I was honest to the people I work with. Hey, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? And I think that's received in a better way than admitting that you do know it, and then when the time comes that you don't know it. You know, there's so many times where I could have just easily faked it to make the deal work, but I was straight up and be like, hey, I don't know if I can do this. And the reception that I usually receive was very positive. I said, oh, okay, let me just guide you through, or let me just do this and do that. Or sometimes people are just like, hey, like I can't do this deal with you because you know you don't have enough experience, and that's okay too. Because when one door closes, a new door opens, and I realize that that's super important in becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Is that that's how you really grow. You have to look at your weaknesses, and you have to either work on them or
Yeah. Yeah.
find things that you're good at to supplement your strengths with. You can't just go out there and do these gimmick marketing where you're good at everything. In
Yeah.
actuality, you're not. Your reputation will be more harm than beneficial.
I love what you're saying there because so many times people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, tell me how to do social media and get paid and do that." And it's like, I don't know where to start right now. But what I would encourage you to do is um, just really be honest with yourself. What are you good at? What are you not? And ask yourself if you're doing this for the money. Are you trying to do something new? So, um, walk me through that thought process as you as an entrepreneur. When did you realize what was your strengths, what was your weakness, and like how you're balancing that?
Yeah, you pick that up really quickly too when you become an entrepreneur. Is like your first day being a full-time entrepreneur, you're like, wow, there's a lot of things I'm not good at. It
Yeah,
kind of hits you in the face too, because as you're working a corporate job, a lot of things gets masked, right? Because you're in someone's system, you're doing stuff where even if you're not that good, no one will really notice if you're really good or not. But you're an entrepreneur, everyone sees who you are and what you're good at, and that's really the point where I started to realize what I was actually good at. And
hmm,
there's a difference in what I'm good at and what I actually enjoy.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think enjoyment is a big part of like being an entrepreneur. I think I really enjoy like mentoring people, teaching people, connecting people. Just I'm always a naturally curious person, so I like
Yeah.
hearing people's story. So I think that part of me is often reflected into Asian Hustle Network because that's me. Everyone that
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
me is like Brian likes hearing stories, you
Hmm.
know. So that's the part that really reflects in the community, and that's when I really knew my strengths and weaknesses. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
just jumped and things that I'm terrible with, it kind of hit me in the face. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not that good at like some stuff. It's very
Yeah,
obvious. It's like a gaping hole, and that's okay. You know,
yeah.
like you go out there, you find people that supplement your strength, or you can literally outsource as an entrepreneur. You know.
Yeah, for sure. This self awareness, I can't
Yeah.
understate it or overstate it enough. Most people think they're really good at something, right? And sometimes when they realize, all right, oh, I want to go into business, and then all of a sudden, what happens is their passion is no longer there because it's work,
Mhm.
right? They
Exactly.
realize they like one element of it, and it's
Hmm.
not running the business of it. So
Hmm.
I think people ask me all the time because I started a newspaper when I was in college, right? And I
Wow.
wanted to be a better writer, and it became way bigger than what it is, and it became
Mhm.
a business. And I didn't enjoy writing. I didn't enjoy creating content. It was my job. And people didn't understand this logic of like, well, you just created to do this and not. So I think you're hitting on something really important there.
Definitely, you do have to enjoy what you do. Same thing with you. When Asian blew up, you know, my life has changed a little bit dramatically
Yeah.
in terms of I would say before I'm a kind of a private person where most of my pictures on Facebook are private.
Hmm.
I don't really share much about my story,
Wow.
but I learned to be vulnerable too as the community grew because I
Hmm.
knew that I needed to set an example for people to follow if I want this culture to continue.
Yeah.
And props to everyone who shared their story inside Asian Hustle Network. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, my story was the first story to be shared, and that's only with 57 people,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And I was scared. Like
Hmm.
when I was about to post it, I talked to my co-founder Maggie. I was like, man, I'm about to share something so personal,
Yeah.
you know. And at that time, it was only 57 people, you know.
Hmm.
And now it's 50,000 people.
Yeah, man.
So hats off to you guys posting inside the group right now. That takes some guts, and that beats me by a lot.
You know, I love the humbleness you're bringing there because, you know, your story is set off so many chains of sharing so many interesting stories. Like, you know, there are stories that are make you go, oh fuck. like really just like stop reading and everything is like, wow, that was heavy. And then there are some that are just like really inspirational. So that community is very important, I think, especially for the Asian community, because at least here are
Mm-hmm.
the two main themes that I see. One is I was struggling being an Asian in some type of capacity, whether it's the Asian son, Asian daughter, or the Asian classmate with, or among all white people, right? And then the other one is this struggle of acceptance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the Asian thing; it's just an acceptance. And I think all these stories that are sharing are bridging the gap a little bit. And I think our community especially needs it because, quite frankly, there's a lot of fragmentation in it, right? There's a lot of assumptions. If you're Korean, if you're Chinese, if you're Vietnamese, there's levels to it. And I think, me personally here, AHN is trying to make that more of a flat. We're all Asians. We're all
Mm-hmm.
hustlers. We're all networkers. If we have common ground, share more stories, you start to realize it.
Yeah, that is one of my goals too. Because I mean, to be honest here, like when I started Asian Hustle Network, I actually um, was really nervous to do it because when I looked around online first, I was hoping to find something else similar,
Yeah.
to be honest. And when I didn't find it, I was like, oh man, I can't find something like this. What do I do? So originally I posted inside a different Facebook group to start something similar because I was nervous to be the one to do this.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, they rejected my post.
Hmm.
So I was like, what? This is a great idea. How can you reject this idea? So I
Yeah.
went ahead and I started Asian Hustle Network,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it goes back to what you said. I couldn't find anything that united people together.
Hmm.
I found a lot of different groups on like Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, so on, but they're all fragmented.
Right.
And I wanted to create this community where we can all come together, like you said before, on common ground. We are similar.
Hmm.
It could be a different part of Asia, but our culture is very similar to each other.
Hmm.
We're here to support each other. As long as you help people break down that barrier and can see that, we're all in this together, especially right now during COVID situation.
Yeah, that's perfect transition. So I know you got another venture that's starting up right now. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm working on this campaign called Hate is a Virus with Michelle Hanabusa and Tammy Cho. Um, the campaign is basically just to stop racism and xenophobia, and we also combine it with a relief fund to help small Asian business owners around the world. In this case,
Amazing.
and we also taken it one step further and created a nonprofit for this. With the idea is like, hey, we want to really like help those Asian-owned businesses, especially Asian-owned mom and pop shops who
Yeah.
don't have access to the PPP loans or whatever loans are out there, and that's our primary purpose.
That's amazing. And, I was talking to you before the stream. I think most Asians in our generation have never been on the other end of racism or any kind of xenophobia or any kind of just like negative connotation, right? Like having being told you're an Asian, you're a nerd is like way better than what has been going on, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
people have been like really culture shocked. They don't know what to do. And they don't know how to deal with the stress. They don't know how to deal with like some people are scared to go to grocery store, right?
Mhm.
Some mom and pops are worried that if they open up their restaurant and nobody's there, they might get robbed because they're Asian and nothing else. So, walk me through some of the things and stories that you've been hearing while doing this, and like what has even like inspired you even more to like keep going.
Definitely. I mean, running Asian Hustle Network, I see firsthand all the terrible stuff that comes in. I think at the peak of COVID, we're getting about 150 to 200 posts every day about people feeling really unsafe.
Yeah.
There are people feeling that the Asian crime has definitely increased. A lot of different negativity, different articles that came in, and it really made me concerned, like really concerned, that when a member, Michelle, posted Hate is a Virus post into AHN, I actually reached out to her and be like, hey, I want to be a part of this movement. let's turn it into a campaign. Let's blow it up big because this is what we need right now. You know, we need to combat all the xenophobia stuff because I see it from firsthand. You know, like people were commenting throughout the network saying that they're more scared of racism than the virus itself.
Yeah.
And that says a lot, you know. And you see all this crime that's going on with people getting harassed, getting, beaten up, and especially in New York, Australia, and SF included. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. Like, you see that, and it's scary. I'm scared because I see like 50, I don't know, 150 to 200 of them every day. It made me scared to go outside. You know? Yeah. So I just wanted to do my best to combat that. And also, as we're doing this campaign, we're learning a lot about other ethnic groups as well. We partner with the Muslim community, we partner with the Black community, Latino community, and we learn a lot from them because these groups, unfortunately, have been facing this situation for decades now, if not generations.
Yeah.
And for them to be able to be so supportive for us right now and lend us their strength and knowledge, I'm very appreciative of that.
I'm really glad you're sharing that because I think this is new to us, but this xenophobia just as a whole is not a new concept. And if anything, it has elevated in the last 4 years versus kind of died down, right? It's like it's a whole new America. I guess like if you and me 10 years ago, a lot of the posts that are going out there and people speaking freely, that was not there. And then we adjusted to that and got desensitized that from social media. And then this spike hit in the last month, or 2 months really, and Asians and as a whole are like, wow, what's going on? And, the one thing that I haven't seen too much of is I think like self-reflection within us, right? I think the Asian community, we started talking about how it's fragmented, and you were trying to bring it together. I think this is even bringing more awareness to like, okay, well, on our side of the house too, we got to start acting this way. And it's really inspiring for other groups to be like, we're with you. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, or if there was support or not, but we're all in together. So, I think Haze the Virus, talk to people where they can support the campaign and like join the movement.
Definitely. So you can start by visiting our website, hateisthevirus.world, or check out our Instagram. We've been doing pretty well on that, where our hashtags going viral. hateisthevirus_. So just check out the website. All the information is there for how to get involved. We do have a new Instagram filter. Shout out to one of our team members that created that you just have an automatic face mask on, like a virtual reality face mask that says "Hate is a virus" on the side, which is pretty cool. I
love it. I've been trying to create, or just a Spark AR tool on Facebook that they gave out, and they have some like templates to create stuff. So I wanted to play around with that, but it's cool that you guys already had that set.
Yeah, it wasn't something I thought about either. It's just one of the creative members came out and spoke to us. She's like, "Hey, I created this for you guys." And we saw it and we're like, "Dude, this is hella cool."
Yeah. So we went heavy a little bit. Let's go light. Talk to me about just something that was unexpected for you being an entrepreneur that you absolutely love right now.
Oh man, what was unexpected? I feel like AHN was kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
I started off as a passion project. I started out because I was doing business with a lot of people where I felt like a lot of them had this scarcity mindset that if I won, they have to lose, and if they lose, I have to win. I started to pick up on that a lot, especially working with other Asian entrepreneurs, and I wanted to make sure that that's not the case. Like I needed to connect people together to see that there's so much resources out there that we can all succeed. Because I know in the Asian culture, it's like you have to lose, I have to win. My cousin got better grades than me, stuff like that, And I was thinking about how do you help a large amount of people without having them know that you're helping them. And that's my objective. That's how I always think
Oh,
nowadays. It's
interesting.
like how can I help you without you knowing that you're being helped? You know?
Ooh,
And I
I
know
like
for a
that.
fact that statistically, a lot of people spend a lot of time on social media. If they read these posts in their news feed subconsciously without like doing anything else, it affects their mindset already. It gives them that random jolt of inspiration that they need to go out there and do something more and know that you have the support system right there. And that's
Yeah.
my goal. That's the most unexpected thing in my entrepreneurial career. It's like starting HN, but my philosophy has always been how do I teach people without teaching people? you know?
Dude, I think that's pretty profound. I like it. I like it a lot. Um, so, not that you have too much free time as an entrepreneur, but when you have free
Mhm.
time, what do you like to do, man?
To be honest, I've been reading a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right now, I'm reading Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm.
I found a lot of inspiration in that because he isn't afraid to dream big. You
Yeah.
know, you dream big and you tell people about it. The universe is kind of funny in a way where it helps connect some dots for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes by seeing other people and other really successful people connect the dots, it gives you some ideas how to connect your dots. Because sometimes you're in your situation, opportunities are around you, but you don't see them. You know, you can't connect them until you
Yeah.
go outside, you stand above, and you look at other people's story, and you're like, wow, that person connected that. You start reflecting and become more aware of your own life. Like, what can I connect to make the next thing happen? You know?
That connecting the dot and reading about other people's stories and journeys to help connect yours, like, I can't. I mean, it's so right. I think when I was hearing a lot of people growing up in the social media industry, because I'm an agency, and talking about what they were going through with their managers or their clients, or what they were doing from which agency to another, there was a lot of things that connected my dots. I'm like, well, I can't do this because then I know my career is going to be like this in like 5 years. Or if I do this, I'm probably going to have other opportunities and things like that. And then even outside of social media, right? I think I learned a lot from entrepreneurs because these are the people using social media way more progressively than most agencies. So
Mm-hmm.
the Arnold Schwarzenegger example, like who would have thought an immigrant would become not only just like Mr. Universe, but a governor of California? Like,
That's amazing.
you know what I mean? And to your point, he's always talked about that dreaming big. And I've only like known his story from like random things that I've seen, but the think big, whatever you want is possible
Mm-hmm.
is so key. And I think what is missing for some of the Asian communities is the actual role model that's telling
Mm-hmm.
the story of that. I'm seeing a
Mm-hmm.
little bit on the AHN network, right? But
Mm-hmm.
at a full scale, where it's like covered by Forbes or things like that, us
Mm-hmm.
Asian entrepreneurs or just Asians in general aren't represented in there. But
Mm-hmm.
we can learn from other people, become that person, so that in next generation there would be like, oh, remember that guy? Like he's Asian, I'm Asian, I could be do that. I really think, yeah, that's going to be really cool for us to. If you and I kick back in like 30 years and we see some of that happening, I think, yeah, I think we leave this world a little bit better place.
Yeah, I think that'll happen too because our generation is slightly different from our parents' generation. We're a lot more vocal now. You know,
Very.
we voice our opinions really well. You know, we're
Mm-hmm.
very professional about it. We're well educated. You know, so I think it's just a matter of time before we create this new wave. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The parents thing is kind of funny. I think our parents are, well, I'm pretty sure I speak for all Asians, but Asian parents are very opinionated inside, right?
They are.
Inside your house. Go outside and they are the most, I don't know, just a vanilla person. No opinion, just do the hard work. That was our
hmm
parents' generation. And
hmm
then all of a sudden, somehow, the most opinionated, like subtweeting culture of Asians came out. And yeah, to your point, we're somehow able to articulate it very well. And it must be like a mix of education and kind of our upbringing. But yeah, it's very funny that our parents' generation is very mute and we're not.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think back to why they are more quiet than we are. I mean, they came from times of war. They came to a new country. They didn't know anyone. You know, as as being Asian, we're taught to be very respectful, avoid conflict, keep our head down, work hard. But you know, well, us being born here and born in other English speaking places in the world,
Hmm.
we're pretty much American or as anyone else. You
Yeah,
know? So we
yeah,
have that rebellious culture inside of like our DNA that allows us to like speak out when things aren't right. Because
no,
we see how
it's so
other
true.
groups do, and we seek inspiration from them. You know.
Yeah, man. So there's a comment. I'm adding it into broadcast right now. Jimmy Basic said, "Hello, I tried to RSVP for May 23rd on hateisthevirus.world, and there is no button to submit my info."
Oh, we'll fix that. I'll let the team know.
Jimmy, I know you, so I'll if Ryan hits me up, I'll hit you up, but you're
Mm,
good.
yeah.
So we're right about 30 minutes. Is there anything you want to say or leave behind to kind of end the stream?
Yeah, definitely a couple of things to say. I mean, first off, if you guys haven't joined yet, please join Asian Hustle Network.
Yes.
Um, I think it's a great community for you guys to really meet each other and support each other, especially during this time. And I want to open up to everyone else too. You don't have to be Asian. You know, we are very open to everyone. We have a lot of different backgrounds inside the community, asking questions. At the end of the day, we're all here to hustle.
Yeah.
You know, we're all here to share our struggles with each other because no one should go to entrepreneurship alone. It can be quite brutal
Yeah.
on you mentally, physically, emotionally,
Hmm.
and knowing that there's a group of other people out there feeling the same way that you do gives you strength to push forward more.
I think that's so spot on. When I first started my thing, it was so draining, and I knew not a single person that was doing it. And, you know, it wasn't the entrepreneurship that's going on in Asian Hustle Network, but what I do know is people reacting to those stories, people
Mhm.
reaching out and be like, "Hey, can we chat about this? I want to learn from you." I
Yeah,
If I had that, my mental health would have been so much better. So, yeah,
I do have a miscellaneous story too.
go for it.
The other day I saw a member post that he was too scared.
Oh, technical difficulties, maybe. Looks like we lost you, Brian.